Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. We're here tonight with administrators from the School of Arts and Sciences. I'm going to turn this presentation over to Dr. Donald to get us started. Thank you.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this session. It's a pleasure to have a chance to interact with you in this way. It's by Zoom, but hopefully we'll be able to learn a bit about the School of Arts and Sciences, and we'll be able to pick up on any questions that you might have later on. So we'll start off by talking a little bit about who we are in the School of Arts and Sciences, and to share with you who the different leaders are in the school. So the Dean of Arts and Sciences is Jenny Kavanagh, who is shown here on the slide at the top. She is unfortunately unable to join us today, and she sends her regrets that she couldn't be here. But the others of us who you will be talking to this evening are all associate deans in the School of Arts and Sciences. And I'll start by introducing myself. Along with being an associate dean in the School of Arts and Sciences, I'm a chemistry professor, a professor in theoretical chemistry in the School of Arts and Sciences. And my work focuses primarily on trying to find explanations using mathematical strategies to solving chemical problems. In the School of Arts and Sciences, I'm primarily responsible for Division 3, which is the area that involves the sciences. And my colleagues who are here, Manuella Meyer and Sharon Feldman, are responsible for the other two divisions in the School of Arts and Sciences, and I'll give them a chance to say a bit more about themselves. So we'll start off with Manuella Meyer.
So good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, wherever you may be. As Dr. Donald noted, my name is Manuella Meyer. I am an associate dean in the School of Arts and Sciences, and specifically, I am the associate dean of the social sciences and the humanities, which I'll talk a bit about later. And I am also a professor in the history department. My work focuses on the history of public health and medicine in Latin America and Brazil in particular. And apart from history, which is my home department, I teach in a variety of interdisciplinary programs that include Africana studies, global studies, health studies, and women, gender, and sexuality studies. And I look forward to talking and interacting with you this evening. Thank you.
Hi, I guess I'll introduce myself. My name is Sharon Feldman. I'm Associate Dean for Division 1, which is Arts, Languages, and Cultures. And I am actually a member of the Department of Latin American, Latino, and Iberian Studies, otherwise known as LALIS, where I am a specialist in the theater of the Iberian Peninsula. And likewise, I look forward to interacting with you this evening.
Thank you, Sharon. So I want to talk with you briefly before we go deeper into what the divisions involve. I want to talk with you a bit about the School of Arts and Sciences in general. So the School of Arts and Sciences is, as we said, and as you see here, it's seen as the heart of the University of Richmond. And there are other schools in the university. We have a business school and a leadership school. And at the graduate level, we have a law school. And we also have a school of continuing studies. But the School of Arts and Sciences sees itself as the heart of the university. In the school, you can choose from a range of department options. And we also have 13 interdisciplinary programs. And the school also, one of the goals that we have is to create a community where together faculty and students can work together to ask deep questions, to look at challenging and current issues and ask the deep questions that could lead to solutions and resolve problems that, or provide public solutions to problems that exist in our world today. And I think that anybody who is keeping up with the news and so on sees that there are any number of issues and concerns that that might attract somebody to a university to think more deeply about how we can improve the world in which we live. And we work in the department across a range of different modes and approaches to problem solving. So we have the arts, we have the sciences, we have the humanities, and so we feel that we can address a range of issues that impact the world and our community. So the arts and sciences has the liberal arts and general education as vital, sees it as vital preparation for life and also for employment for our students in this globalized marketplace. And so in the School of Arts and Sciences, every student begins as a student, or in the university, every student begins as a student in the School of Arts and Sciences. So that's the starting point for every student. And once the student has spent some time in the School of Arts and Sciences, then it's possible to branch out into to stay in the School of Arts and Sciences, or to branch out to the leadership school, or to the business school. So what does arts and sciences offer at the university? One thing that we feel that we offer, or that we know that students come to the university for, is a low faculty to student ratio. And our emphasis is on discussion and collaboration in the learning process. And we try to provide opportunities for faculty and students to do research as well. The liberal arts, which is the general model that's followed by our university and many primarily undergraduate schools, provides a program of study that combines the practical and theoretical aspects of learning and knowledge, and encourages systematic and synthetic thinking and adaptability. So we hope that when students graduate from the school, then they're able to use the skills that they have in a range of areas that are not necessarily specifically the one particular thing that was studied in the school, but using the skills that were developed to take on various types of problems that may be relevant at the time. General education is also offered in the school, and so all students are required to do general education courses. And these courses promote interdisciplinary connections as well as breadth and depth in a particular area. There are 6 field of study courses and first year seminars as well that students do, along with language requirements and courses in wellness. So if you could go to the next slide. In the School of Arts and Sciences, we have 3 divisions, as I mentioned, and so the departments that you saw mentioned on the previous slide, the 24 departments and 13 programs, those departments and programs are distributed among the 3 divisions that are shown here. So we have a division that's dedicated to arts, languages, and cultures, which is the division that Sharon Feldman is primarily responsible for. We have a division that's primarily dedicated to the humanities and the social sciences. That is the division that Manuella Meyer helps to coordinate. And then there is Division 3, which is a division that includes the natural sciences, mathematics, computer science, and psychology, and that is the division to which the division for which I'm primarily responsible. And so as we go deeper into looking at the divisions, we're going to start with Division 1, and then I'll hand over to Sharon Feldman, who is the Associate Dean responsible for arts, languages, and culture.
Hi. So I think, yep, you'll see on the slides, there's a list of departments and programs. So I'm going to just go through the different programs that we have. These are programs for which there are both majors and minors. We have film studies, creative writing, theater, dance, music, art history, visual arts and media practice, which we call VMAP. And then we also offer an advising program for students interested in pursuing postgraduate studies in architecture. And we currently have also a concentration in arts management, which may grow in the near future and become possibly a minor in arts management. And many of our students in the arts have gone on to enjoy successful careers. For instance, we have in their respective fields, we have students who are working in professional dance, students who have created graphic novels, a student who has been a cartoonist for the New Yorker. And we have at least 3 Tony Award-winning graduates in music, theater, and dance. We're a liberal arts college, as Professor Donald has mentioned, but we're a liberal arts college with a faculty and facilities that are comparable to what one might find at a conservatory or an art school. And students receive academic credit for just about all their work in the arts. So even if you're helping to sew costumes, you can receive credit for that work. You receive credit for music lessons, for playing in an ensemble, for participating in a theater production, for participating in a dance performance. And these are programs that encourage self-expression and creativity and can build confidence, as well as a sense of individual identity and well-being. Concerning languages and cultures, we offer programs in classical studies, including Latin, Greek, and archaeology. We have English, we have Spanish and Portuguese, which we call Luso-Brazilian Studies here at University of Richmond. We have Arabic, Chinese, French, German, Italian, Japanese, and Russian. And we also have some courses in Catalan and Galician literature. And at U of R, you can actually begin a language from scratch and then study abroad and become fluent. So you don't have to just study a language that you've already studied, let's say in high school. And this is because we have several intensive programs in the languages. We also have several study abroad exchange programs all over the world, whereby we send students out to study at these programs, and we also receive international students from these programs. So these exchanges really enrich our lives in many ways. We offer also self-directed language learning for lesser taught languages such as Korean, Swahili, Turkish, or Catalan. And we, of course, believe languages are an integral component of any liberal arts education, for they inspire empathy and cultural insight and offer significant intellectual and cognitive benefits. And so for us at University of Richmond, language really is culture. Language study and literacy in the United States, as many of you probably know, are somewhat in decline, yet employers are increasingly requiring competency in these areas. And language study is really vital to our national security, our diplomacy, and our economy. And so we really see languages at U of R as the crucial medium that enables us to think globally. They're really the lifeline through which globalization is achieved. And so now I'm going to hand it off to my colleague, Dr. Manuella Meyer, who is the Associate Dean for Division 2.
Thank you very much, Dr. Feldman. And as I mentioned earlier, I want to offer a few words about the humanities and social sciences. And in doing so, I want to debunk them a little bit and also hopefully plant some seeds in your mind so that when you get to UR, you may want to explore some disciplines as well as some interdisciplinary programs. So, what are the humanities? The humanities are simply academic disciplines that study human culture. From an academic standpoint, the humanities include the study of history, philosophy, religious studies, journalism, and other fields. Humanities, and specifically the research that humanists engage in, adds to our knowledge of the world as scholars and students investigate differences between cultures and communities around the world and across time. Humanities education encourages students to think creatively and critically, to reason and ask questions. So when we also look at the social sciences, which is slightly different, we understand the social sciences as a branch of learning that examines society's institutions, specifically their structures, theoretical foundations, evolution, and interrelationships, and how they affect and are affected by human behavior. Social scientists are dedicated to better understanding the phenomena of human enterprise and social interaction and organization. In other words, they study the how and why of what people do or should do. And specifically, the social science disciplines customarily include sociology, education, political science, psychology, rhetoric, and communication studies. So the ultimate question is there a hard division or separation between the humanities and social sciences? The simple answer is no. The two branches of knowledge can often have critical areas of overlap as learners use the same theoretical and methodological tools to approach a critical topic or question. Ultimately, both the humanities and social sciences use analytical and interpretive approaches to learn more about the world. Now, at the School of Arts and Sciences at UR, we provide a broad range of majors and offer numerous opportunities for both disciplinary and interdisciplinary study in both the humanities and social sciences, and as my colleagues would note, in arts, literature, and the sciences. Now, what I want to make poignant, or what I would hope that resonates with you today is that at UR, we know that the way to make the humanities and social sciences compelling is by making them practical and relevant. And ultimately, we show our students why they matter to their lives and their careers. We specialize in experiential education throughout the curriculum, in teaching by doing, and we apply that model to the traditional liberal arts. Students ultimately sign up and engage. For example, we have political science students that have worked on research projects at think tanks in Washington, D.C. and presented policy memos. We have history students that have traveled to Germany for their honors theses on far-right neo-Nazi movements. We have rhetoric and media communication studies students that have developed and proposed alternative conceptualizations of memory and history of the Civil War along Richmond, Virginia's famed Monument Avenue to local officials. Ultimately, these kinds of studies help students become critical thinkers, effective communicators, and collaborative, curious problem solvers that employers value. We know that today's college students, which all of you are really attending college at a time of great innovation. Technological advancements are far outpacing educational institutions. By the time that many colleges finish writing a lot of policies, the world is going to look different. Now is a time of disruption. And uncertainty is invigorating, but it's also stressful. And at UR, we highlight that the humanities and social sciences, along with the other fields, come to the table and are at the center of a career-focused education. Learning how to think philosophically, write stories about human uncertainty, and close read a text with or without AI equip students ultimately for the future. So we recognize that these kinds of critical skills to be gained in all the divisions allow our students to stand out. So at this juncture, I'd like to pass it over to my colleague, Dr. Donald, who will talk to you a bit.
Thank you very much, Dr. Meyer. So, as I mentioned, I'm the associate dean with responsibilities for the natural sciences and or in Division 3, which includes the natural sciences, mathematics, computer science, and psychology, and also areas that involve overlap with these disciplines. So previously you saw that there were a number of interdisciplinary programs that are connected with Division 3, that includes integrated inclusive science, cognitive science, data science and statistics, and biochemistry and molecular biology. So those are programs that cut across some of the traditional boundaries of the departments at the top. But I want to mention or highlight each of those departments as well, because there are hidden gems in all of them. And so in the biology department, there's a wide range of studies spanning, for example, ecology to a focus on animals or a more microscopic kind of study of cells in the biology department, and also there is also research on plants, research in botany or the more zoological kinds of interests. So there's a wide range of things, possible areas of study and interest that might attract somebody to the biology department. The same thing is true for chemistry, which also involves some biochemistry as well. And as I mentioned, in my case, I'm a theoretical chemist, but we have also organic, inorganic, and other areas of chemistry. Computer science is an exciting area at our university. We have work going on in robotics and human-computer interactions and natural language processing. In mathematics and statistics, I think most persons coming in would have had a lot of exposure to traditional mathematics in high school, geometry, calculus, and so on. But in mathematics and statistics, there's also work going on in applied ways, where mathematics is being applied to biological questions and to other areas as well, like economics, for example. In physics, there is also a range of interest, from the very large, which is the cosmos, to the very small, which are subatomic particles. And in psychology, there is a range of interest and activity in our department here as well. There are persons who are on the counseling psychology side who are more clinical, and then there are others who are thinking more cognitively or looking at psychology in a social context. And so the School of Arts and Sciences and Division 3, even within the department, offer you a wide range of possible ways of intellectual engagement and academic interaction with peers and also with students. On the next slide, you will see that there are a number of areas in which you can go. So in the same way that there are hidden gems behind each of the words that I mentioned, there are also a number of job options that students have that are not immediately obvious. So, for example, studying physics doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a physicist. It could mean a range of things. We have physics graduate students who have gone into patent law, for example, where their physics knowledge becomes useful in helping them to understand some of the patents that are proposed and some of the legal ramifications. There are a wide range of options in research and innovation. Dr. Meyer mentioned artificial intelligence earlier, which is finding application in the arts and also in the social sciences and in the humanities. And where most of the development, the technical development is happening is in computer science. And so that's one place too where research and innovation is important. Data science and statistics, you probably already, even in your high school experiences, have seen where data is, where the use of data is very important, and ways of organizing data and employing statistics can be crucial. This year we are in an election year, and so there will be a lot of data that you'll be hearing about, a lot of statistics that will be used. Sometimes the same data point is being used to make an argument for two different positions, but that's where your expertise in understanding data might also come in. And then in industry, there's agriculture and pharmacy and cosmetics, where a knowledge of the sciences is important. Science journalism, which cuts across the imagined boundary between Division 3 and Division 2, is an area that's also very, very important. You probably saw some of that during the period of intense discussion about COVID, where journalists benefited from having some scientific knowledge and also having the prowess of being able to interrogate issues that come with journalism. There's healthcare engineering. You see here being laboratory technician, actuarial sciences, social services, public services, which could mean working in the government structure, in looking at mining, for example, or in some other area in science and technology. There are many ways in which science is used in the public service, and also, of course, consulting, where persons without the technical expertise can draw on your knowledge to be able to advance whatever project they might have going on. For example, consulting a biologist on the wisdom of building a road through a particular area where plants or birds typically spend plant live or birds typically spend a lot of time. And so these are just some of the areas in which you could direct your energies, talents, and abilities after graduating from one of the departments in the division. So if we go to the next slide, I will hand over here to Professor Meyer again to talk to us about major declaration and academic advising.
Thank you, Dr. Donald. So I just also want to underscore something that Dr. Donald as well as Dr. Feldman noted, and that is one of the most transformational shifts in higher education over the last 2 decades has been the increased desire to nurture the connection between and across different fields and disciplines. You, our students, faculty, and staff, are uniquely attuned to the high value of synergy. For example, I just recently advised a student who planned on double majoring in computer science and philosophy since he aspires to be a technology ethicist. Some of my students that walk into my classes, namely the seminar I teach on the history of madness in the modern era, are health studies majors, and they're interested in the history of psychology and how to translate those skills in the classroom in their careers as physician assistants or epidemiologists. So how exactly does one actually become a major, if you will? So students have the option to declare at the end of the first year. Such declarations will be effective as of June 1st, and students are encouraged to declare during their sophomore year so as to explore a range of disciplines and programs, and they are expected to have declared by the end of their sophomore year. I think, as Dr. Donald intimated, so when students come into the University of Richmond, because all students are undeclared, students enter into the School of Arts and Sciences, the proverbial heart of the university. And students are assigned an undeclared advisor until they actually make a major declaration, again, at the end of their sophomore year, but highly recommended during, at the end of their first year, but highly recommended during their second year. And if a student decides to double major, often their first major is the major from which they are assigned an advisor. And that advisor actually mentors them throughout their tenure at the University of Richmond. And ideally, and this often happens, 9.5 out of 10, students are often encouraged to engage in independent research with faculty members not only in their respective departments, but in a variety of different programs. Why? Because independent research is a hallmark of the University of Richmond education. Why? Because ultimately the goal is to create a publicly accessible product that is beneficial for all undergraduates, regardless of discipline or future career plans. Ultimately, undergraduate research, scholarship, and creative inquiry is fundamentally a pedagogical approach to teaching and learning. And with an emphasis on process, I suggest and I urge all of you to think about undergraduate research as a mentored investigation or creative inquiry conducted by students that seek to make a scholarly or artistic contribution to knowledge. And participating in undergraduate research prepares you for your post-graduation plans by expanding your academic experience and giving you the opportunity to explore an academic discipline much more fully. Now, it's important to note that students at the university can major, double major, minor in academic disciplines such as history, journalism, philosophy, political science, religious studies, rhetoric and communication studies, sociology and anthropology, and geography and the environment. Now, when we talk about interdisciplinary study, we are referring to a method or mindset that merges traditional educational concepts or methods in order to arrive at new approaches or solutions. Now, the School of Arts and Sciences offers support for interdisciplinary study through a number of programs that offer majors within the Bachelor of Arts degree, within the Bachelor of Arts degree. They are American Studies, Classical Civilization, Cognitive Science, Environmental Studies, Film Studies, Geography, Global Studies, Philosophy, Politics, Economics, and Law, also known as PPEL, and Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, WGSS, and Africana Studies. Environmental studies, interdisciplinary physics, and mathematical economics are the interdisciplinary major options within the Bachelor of Science degree. I know this is a lot. This is all on the website. Now, if this embarrassment of riches is still not enough, the School of Arts and Science also offers a self-designed interdisciplinary major. Now, this major provides a student the opportunity to propose and to pursue, with faculty supervision, a unique program of study leading to either a Bachelor of Arts degree or a Bachelor of Science degree with a major in interdisciplinary studies. The one program that only provides a minor is education. So, irrespective of the potential majors and minors that one may ultimately explore and follow, A&S faculty are excellent teachers and active scholars. The enthusiasm for mentoring undergraduates can be seen in courses faculty teach, as well as their individual research initiatives. Faculty members are passionate about student success and are committed to making a positive difference in the lives and potential of students. Students are also exposed to a wide range of guest scholars and leaders through the many events at the university. They also have hands-on experiences through the International Studies Center, the Bonner Center for Civic Engagement, and a variety of academic internships and mentoring programs. Educational efforts are guided by the model of liberal learning, where knowledge is used in the service of leading purposeful and critical lives while being good stewards of the various communities to which one belongs. So at this juncture, I'd like to turn it back to Dr. Donald so that he can talk about how faculty and students actually work together, and specifically how they work together as it relates to research.
Thank you, Dr. Meyer. So at the University of Richmond, one of the things that we encourage students to do, one of the things that we feel is a signature feature of the options that students have at the University of Richmond is the opportunity to do undergraduate research. Now, the way that undergraduate research works is that a student finds an area of interest or a topic that they are really motivated to dig more deeply into, and the student works with a faculty member to undertake that exploration. And so each year, and actually right now, as we are talking, there are students who are on campus who are here for undergraduate research. We have over 150 students who are here across the sciences, geography, the humanities, and so on, who are doing work in research, who have taken on a project that they are dedicated themselves to examine for the summer, usually for 10 weeks. And most students are here on campus, but there are students who are working elsewhere, depending on the nature of the project that they are undertaking. And one of the significant features of undergraduate research at the University of Richmond is that students are provided with what is called the Richmond Guarantee, which is an option that all students have to have a funded summer internship while they are students at the university during the summer. And very often students use that funding for undergraduate research, for summer research, but students can also use it for internships and for other types of intellectual engagements during the summer. One of the things that we do in celebration of all of the accomplishments that students have from undergraduate research is what you see here on the right, which is the student symposium, the annual student symposium, which is usually held in the mid to late April, close to the end of the spring semester, where students come and they present their work to faculty across the school and their peers. So they present a poster like the one that's here, which is a traditional form of that sharing of knowledge. But some students might have performances, they might have recordings of work that they have done in theater or dance, and those or artwork, and those are exhibited or performed. And so the student symposium is a big event that takes place, and a real celebration for students who have been funded by the Richmond Guarantee. Part of our celebration of accomplishments is also the annual honors convocation, which takes place around the same time as the student symposium, and around the same time, usually on the same day or a week apart. And the honors convocation is a celebration of all of the intellectual accomplishments of students during the academic year, especially students who are seniors and those who have completed honors thesis, which usually involve some kind of research. And so the students who you see in the picture on the left are students who have won award for their papers or for their creative work, and so or just for overall academic achievement in the School of Arts and Sciences. And so this gives you a flavor for how significant undergraduate research is in the School of Art and Science. So one other thing that we do here at the university is to try to find synergy among the divisions and the disciplines that are in the School of Arts and Sciences. Research helps us to do that, but Professor Feldman will talk to us a bit more about finding some of those synergies. So I'll hand over to Professor Feldman.
Thank you, Dr. Donald. I'm just going to give you a few examples of some of the student work that was presented at the symposium this last year. So, for example, in Division 1, there was a talk that a student gave titled "The Head That Wears the Crown, Intersections of Purity and Power in 18th Century Convents." And what she did was she combined work in Latin America. She'd actually gone to Mexico and done some research at some convents there. And she combined work that she did in Mexico and work that was in Latin American and Iberian studies with her work in art history. She was actually an art history major. And so she was able to bring together those different disciplines in the humanities, actually. There was another student who gave a talk titled "How the Performing Arts Can Benefit Environmental Activism." And this talk was supervised by a professor in environmental studies and another professor coming from the performing arts. And so this student was able to bring together their interests in two disciplines that might not seem to have a clear relationship at first, but they were able to really combine their interests in a really incredible way. There were also students doing work on natural language processing and AI that bring together, for example, the disciplines of computer science, cognitive science, and linguistics. So that's quite exciting. There was a talk on investigating the Russian Justice Ministry ban on the LGBT movement. And in this talk, the student was kind of able to bring together both history and then sociology as well. There were several presentations this past year on different aspects of HIV. There's a lot of research going on at the university on diseases and viruses, but bringing together different aspects and coming at HIV, for example, from many different angles. There was a talk entitled "Trends in Expression and Activity of Natural Products Biologically Active Against Infection and Disease in Humans." And so this talk, of course, was coming from biology and the sciences, but also was enhanced by other disciplines that the student was able to draw upon. And so those are just some examples, some of the titles that we saw last year at the symposium.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Feldman. And as you can see too from the
Oh, there was a list there. That's right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to
just
get a different list.
mentioning, yeah, as you can see from
Yes.
the list, there are others too, from film studies, journalism, geography,
Yeah.
biology, and mathematics. So there's a wide range of areas, regardless of where you find your niche. You will be able to do research, to engage, and also to participate in areas of campus life, like the symposium, like the annual symposium. So thank you very much again, Professor Sharon. So on the next slide brings us to the end of the formal presentation part of our interaction, and I'd just like to thank you for your patience and to open up now for questions. Thoughts may have come to your mind as we have been talking about all that the university offers, and so I'll hand over to to Andrea Best, who will be moderating the question section for us. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, everyone. If there are questions from our audience, please put them in the Q&A and we will get to them. We'll save some time here. Well, it appears, folks, that your presentation answered all questions. I don't see any in the Q&A. Again, we certainly thank you for joining us this evening. The recording for this presentation will be posted on the New Spiders website by the end of the week. So if there's anything you'd like to review, please don't hesitate to log into newspiders.richmond.edu and check out this recording. Thank you all again. Have a great evening.